My name is Cey Adams, and I'm from New York City. And I came to the Bemis at the end of July, and I'm leaving at the end of September 2014. I describe myself as an artist mostly from a visual point of view. You know, my roots come out of graffiti, so when I think about the work that I do, everything kind of stems from there. And like I said, I got my start as a graffiti artist in the late 70s, and that was my introduction to the art world. I didn't go to a lot of museums and galleries. Everything that I knew about art came from comic books and newspapers and magazines. Making art for me was always about trying to figure out a way to communicate a message. My friends and I, we were really young, we were teenagers, and so the idea of being a professional artist as a teenager is a crazy thing because, you know, for some of us, we weren't even finished high school. And at the time, we didn't know we were professionals, but looking back, we were. And we had to do a lot of press and interviews and things like that. And so we learned how to conduct ourselves in a professional manner very early on. I learned my skills, by repetition, just doing it over and over and over again. The thing about being a graffiti artist is that it's great training for the professional world because you draw in black books and sketchbooks and you master these, graphic designs and outlines, and you take those drawings and then you'd paint one on a subway car, but you do hundreds of them that may never see the light of day. Being so closely identified with music and hip-hop in particular is an amazing thing because I realized that like, jazz and blues and rock and roll, that was a special moment in history. And so to be one of those people that worked closely with all those bands, Public Enemy, Run DMC, LL Cool J, Beastie Boys, Jay-Z, is something that I don't take for granted. And being the spokesperson for the creative community was a real honor for me because I never signed up for that. All I wanted to do was to first paint, then later design logos, and then later album covers. And I ended up not only creating an opportunity for myself, but for a lot of other people that came after me. And learning how to translate that language of graffiti into graphic design and then into doing communication arts was something that I didn't figure out right away. It took a little while to have that happen. The work that I do now as it relates to making paintings and fine art really kind of stems back to, in some cases, my early days of being a graffiti artist because I combine a lot of those same elements that, I did when I was younger. But in addition to that, when I'm working with young people, I do a lot of collage-based work. And that was really where I decided to start making collage paintings because it was something that was easy to teach small children. And it was a lot of fun to watch them succeed in that area because you can't get it wrong. I just thought, that's an interesting, thing. When I watched the work that I did with the kids, I thought, well, what would it look like if I did this on my own? I still think that every time I'm doing something, I'm, that, 15-year-old kid, and the work is always about communicating to people that we're here and we matter. And I think that everybody from my generation is still kind of doing that. Even though we're successful at this point, it's still communicating to the quote-unquote, mainstream art world that the work that we're doing does have some value.